Talk about the differences and similarities between stock car racing and sprint car racing, other, of course, than the obvious, right? They're two different cars.
And believe it or not, there are some similarities.
Quite a few. So be with us all night long. We're going to bring you some great action from Las Vegas, Nevada, the world of Outlaws, coming your way on your Friday Night Motor Madness. Stay with us.
Finesse. About Tyler Walker, that is the hardest thing for a young driver to learn, is to finesse the throttle. You know, you're either on or off for a lot of these young guys, and you just have to backpedal, they call it, and ease on the throttle. It's like driving on ice or snow. You just got to be easy on and off the throttle.
Now that we have completed a lap or two, we will do a single file restart. There's an orange cone in the middle of the back straightaway. You have to pass the cone on the outside of the cone before you can pass anybody in front of you. So they will go single file past the cone.
And they were all good little boys.
That time.
The pressure in these heat races is really on the driver sitting in 4th and 5th, because 4th is the final transfer spot directly to the A feature, and that's really the route you want to travel.
And Craig Delancey just got around Joe Gertie for the 4th spot on the restart.
That would be the final transfer spot. There's Jeff Shepard's number 4, the white car. Here's a good battle. That's Sean Fenn in the green 36. Gertie in the white 3 is going to lose a spot to him, and here comes Jacobs and that red and white car just behind him.
Pretty nice run for Kenny Jacobs, who started clear in the back.
It's like ice racing, isn't it?
It sure is. Look at the run. Jacobs gets off of turn 2 down the back straightaway, gets by Joe Gertie going into turn 3.
4 cars will transfer out of here to the A main. Johnny Herrera, Tyler Walker all locked in. Shepard and Craig Delancey. And there is our leader, who, by the way, finished 5th here when they opened this place last November.
And experience is showing here in this heat race. The drivers with a lot of laps under their belts are surviving on this slick racetrack.
Tyler Walker runs in second. The man that won the Sharon Nationals picked up 10 grand for that victory earlier this year. Now all the way back through 3rd. There's Shepard. Here comes 4th out of turn number 2. Craig Delancey.
And he's pretty solidly in 4th, too.
Well, Jacobs is gaining on him, Steve, going into turn 3. I don't know if he's going to have enough laps to catch him or not. But he has gained some ground on him as Johnny Herrera comes up on Shauna Wilski to lap her going into turn 3.
The Bothell Washington driver goes down a lap.
That's right in their face.
They can't get much closer than that.
Shows how fast these sprint cars are, even on a slick racetrack. They're still getting around here pretty darn fast.
And you don't see a lot of tearaways flashing in the lights either. There's not enough mud to need one.
This time by the starter stand, there'll be a white flag waiting for Johnny Herrera. On a night like this, Brad, we're not sure if we're going to get rubber down because it's awfully cold out there tonight, too. So what would you do with a tire choice?
Well, everybody's just going to watch it, as they do every night. Just watch the cars as they come in and take a tire reading off of the other competitors to see what they're doing. What a contrast from tonight to last night. Last night, the fastway was right around the wall, right up on top, as we got the checkered flag for Johnny Herrera.
So Herrera transfers, Tyler Walker transfers, Jeff Shepard goes through, and the last one will be Craig Delancey's red number 1. And it looks like Kenny Jacobs will finish just 1 spot out of it. Gertie and Sean Fenn follow him across the line. When we come up with heat number 2, one of the guys we're going to see is Jack Hodenshield, the wild child, driver of the Pennzoil number 24 or 22 out of Wooster, Ohio, strapped in, ready to go, Dave.
And that's just half the battle here. He's going to be sitting next to Steve Kinzer, so this is going to be very interesting. But, Jack, we've seen a very slippery racetrack here through our first heat race. So what does that mean for you in this race?
Yeah, we're just, we got the car set up for a slick racetrack, and I think the track will probably take rubber again tonight. It did last night, so we're just going out here and check it out a little bit and see what we got to do for the main.
Not too much pressure. Just need a top 4 finish to get inside the A main. Going after heat win number 19 on the year, guys.
And he sounds fairly positive about the future of this racetrack tonight. We feel that way as well. Go TNN. Words to live by. We'll be right back to Las Vegas.
This is a nice track to do it at, too. If you haven't been out here, this is a part of the beautiful Las Vegas Motor Speedway area. They got the half-mile dirt track here. They got the big racetrack across the way where the NASCAR and IRL machines run, and lots of stuff going on here, including the Heat 1 winner, who was standing by with Bobby Jarrett.
That's right, and a lot of drivers coming down. Again, taking a look at the tires that Johnny Herrera selected for his 33rd heat race win of this 1997 season. And Johnny, how challenging is the racetrack tonight?
Well, it's going to be pretty tough tonight. You know, it's a lot slicker tonight right now than it was last night at the end of the night. I think it's going to take some rubber. It's going to be a little later tonight. It's going to take some rubber, but it's real tough right now.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Guys, 3 hot cars make up the first 3 in heat number 2. As you take a look at the lineup, Hodenshield and Steve Kinzer in row 1, then Greg Hodden on the inside of row 2. Jimmy Carr driving the car that Johnny Herrera's dad owns. That's a car, the 45X, that Ricky Hood normally drives, but he is not here tonight. So Jimmy Carr out of Canada filling in for him. McMahon and Hannigan, a couple of Northern California guys in row number 4. Rich Bubak in row number 6.
With Howdenchild and Steve Kinzer in the front row, you can tell where they time trialed. It was later in the session, to be sure.
You know, we ought to have a good main event because there's going to be a lot of real fast race cars toward the back of the main event. So it's going to be interesting to see them try to come up through the field.
Is tonight going to be the art of the slide job?
You know, if it depends. If it gets rubber down, possibly not, because it's going to be, you have to keep your car in that rubber. If you slide too much and slide out of it, you get to the top of the racetrack and you get freight trained on the bottom. But
if it stays slippery like it is.
Oh, you betcha. It'll be, yep.
How hard can you mash the throttle right here at the start?
You can't. That's goes back to we talked earlier. When you come off the flag or the lineup here for the green flag, if you can light the tires up, you can literally stand on the gas and just light the tires and go nowhere. So the guy is going to have to be easy on the throttle.
Just squeeze into it.
Oh, look at Hahn trying to get a jump on him.
Well, maybe did it work? We're watching the flag stand so far. Yes, it worked.
I don't think so. They'll bring them back.
Yellows are back on. They turned them out for a second. It worked for a second.
Well, they always do that, Steve. They'll drop the green and bring the yellow back out so the guys up front don't get out of the throttle and they stack them up and crash a bunch of cars from behind. Yeah, I didn't think with Jack to jump like that, you know. He knows that green car starting right beside him. He's got to do everything he can to try to get that lead going into turn 1.
They had a big problem last night. That car that he is driving now has been flipped 4 times in recent races. And
Hodenshield you're talking, right?
Jack Hodenshield and Guy Forbrook was telling me this afternoon that the motor actually broke out of the motor mounts last night in the main event. So they had all kinds of problems getting that car to handle right. Figured out what it was. No sense in bringing out a backup car because it's the last race of the season. So they just welded it back together and hope to get through the night.
Yeah, the front engine mounts broke off and let the front of the engine drop down a little bit. And they, like you said, they welded them back in. And everybody's just going to get through tonight and go to the banquet tomorrow night and just glad the season's over.
Monte Carlo here in Las Vegas is where the World of Outlaws will have their banquet tomorrow night. Heading out to Jackson. Here we go, green. And this time a much better start.
A perfect start, actually. But still, Howdenchild on the inside. Is that an advantage or the outside? Last night, the outside was an advantage. It doesn't appear to be now. Oh, look at the slingshot at a turn 2 to the green car. Steve Kinzer.
Hodenshield, your leader. Steve Kinzer runs in second. Then it's Hodden who runs in third. And it looks like Kevin Pilot holds on to the transfer spot at this point. There's a fight for the transfer. That's Kevin Pilot in the red 14P. Jimmy Carr, the red 45X right behind him.
Oh, and he gets real loose, gets sideways, and that's Paul McMahon in an Opar 75 game a little bit going into turn 3. They're all hugging the bottom right now, trying to get the left front up on the berm, which transfers weight to that big right rear and helps stick the car through the corners. Bobby
Burrow and Randy McMahon running behind them as well as these 5 cars fight for that final transfer spot. Here's McMahon down into turns 3 and 4.
There's Kevin Pilot.
Pilot won the 1995 Dirt Cup in Skagit, and here's a fight for the lead with Hodenshield and Kinzer.
Interesting what Steve Kinzer is doing. Well, really, it's what Steve Kinzer always does. He's using the heat race to learn the track. He'll take the high line through 1 and 2, then he'll take the low line. As long as he's assured of a transfer spot, he's going to play, he's going to learn, he's going to pass Jack Hodenshield doing it.
Yeah, Hodenshield moved to the top there for some reason and just trying to, like you said, Steve is searching around but lost a lot of room as he's back on the bottom trying to get back around Steve. The bottom is definitely faster.
The man has 700 World of Outlaw wins dating back to 1976. And you've got that many, you can get a win in a heat race.
There they are right around the bottom of turn 3 and 4 again.
You see he's just spinning that wheel, isn't he?
Yep. And jerking the car.
Here's a fight for the transfer. There's Pilot's red 14P. Comes out of Northern California, out of Santa Cruz, California. Most guys play with surfboards in Santa Cruz. Pilot straps on a big right rear and goes sprint car racing.
Jimmy Carr and 145, got a great run off of turn 2, closed right in on him.
Jimmy
moves a little bit out of turn 4.
Jimmy won an ARC race in Antioch earlier this year. That's the series that Pilot competes on a regular basis.
Jimmy Carr drives by him in turns 1 and 2.
Checkered flag waves for Kinzer. Honshield is second. Condon is third. Here they come to the final transfer spot, and it's going to be Jimmy Carr. Due to that move, he pulled off at turn number 2 to get around Kevin Pilot.
You might notice how high the back of Steve Kinzer's wing is there. Used to be that they had adjustments. They could pull pins and raise and lower the rear wing. Now they basically have 2 wing stands, they call them. A short one and a taller one. When the track gets slick like this, they put the taller one on.
That is one aggressive wing in the Quaker State car. Let's go down to Bobby Jarrow.
Well, Dale Blaney's going to be starting on the pole of heat race number 3. And Dale, that seems to be the most advantageous starting position so far tonight.
Well, the bottom's a little bit better getting off 4 right now, so I know hopefully we'll take advantage of it and get out in the open and learn a little bit out of the car.
How has this run been for you in the last couple of weeks behind the wheel of number 93? Have you gained a lot of experience?
Yeah, we're getting there. We haven't qualified very good the last couple 3 or 4 races and got to come from the back, but we're getting there slowly.
All right, Dale Blaney ready to go.
The screeching you're hearing, by the way, is everybody getting pushed off. It's paved down there in the pit area. The Las Vegas Shootout will continue right after these.
Thank you.
Good out. The final Pennzoil World of Outlaws event of 1997. Let's quickly go down to Dave Reed with heat number 2 winner Steve Kinzer.
For the 20th time this year, Steve Kinzer has put his Quaker State car in a heat race victory lane. We know he likes those A features a little bit more, but Steve, we were speculating that maybe you're just out there trying to run a few different lines, find out where the advantage really is, and it looks like it's down low.
Well, you know, right now it is. Of course, that it might change. This thing probably will, I would say, we'll lay some rubber down around the bottom, and if it does that, then everybody's going to be down there. Right now, there's just a little moisture down there. You know, we got a late qualifying time, and it's going to start us back in the back again. But you know, we'll be able to work our way up quite a ways. But it's hard to spot those 4 cars on the front and put a bunch of them in between you and think you're going to win the race. But we'll just see what we can do. It's the last race. We'd like to make a good show in here, so we'll try to get this Quaker State car as close to the front as we can.
There's one of them words we've been hearing a lot about tonight, guys. Rubber.
What they're talking about there is the rubber off the tires actually burn them off, and it sticks to the racetrack, therefore making the racetrack stickier, and sometimes it just gets faster and faster as the night goes on.
Let's take a look at the lineup for heat number 3. Dale Blaney, the 93 car, and Donnie Schatz, the Pennzoil World of Outlaws Rookie of the Year for 1997. We'll start alongside of him. Pittman and Keith Kaufman out of Pennsylvania in row number 2. And there is a father-son battle going on here. Here's the young son, Bud Keating, the number 29. As we look back past row number 4, you'll see father Brent in the 2M. Looks like Bud might have
Bud was a little nervous. His race car got here real late. He was walking up and down the pits and a little bit nervous that I didn't know where his race car was.
He looked like a lost soul, didn't he? Stevie Smith says, hey, where's your guy? He said, I don't know.
Had that look of panic in his eye.
He really did.
They're going to go green when we come to the line here as they come into turn 3 and 4. Big jump for Blaney as they slide him down into 1 and 2.
That's Dale Blaney in the lead. You know, I talked about getting through the banquet and taking the season off. Blaney Hilton has rented Manzanita Speedway this weekend. They're going back and doing some testing along with Joe Gertie. They're serious about their racing.
We got one upside down over in turn 2 on its side.
Boy, the car doesn't look hurt at all right there. They could probably flip it back up on its wheels and
as soon as they do, we'll get a reading on the number for you. Looks like Randy Anderson, 71A.
Came all the way from Iowa. Hope his luck is better on the tables than it was in the first heat. Okay, as they right the 71A car, and I think maybe Brad Dudley's right. They may just start it up and go back in the race. Stay with us. We'll come back for the restart.
It's taking off and landing and doing touch and goes and all sorts of wild things, buzzing the racetrack. It's been pretty spectacular. And with more on another guy who's going to be buzzing this racetrack pretty soon, let's get the story on Bud Keating.
Well, Ralph, Bud Keating, 18 years years old, most likely the National Sprint Car Poll Rookie of the Year for 1997. But next year, he may not race a sprint car. Word is that he may go Toyota Atlantics racing next season. He is in line for that ride after a very strong Indy Lights test a few weeks back in California. So Bud Kading looking to do some things in his career with his eye on someday racing in the IndyCar circuit.
Bud is the driver of that 29 car there. The Kading family, well, they've been tearing up sprint car tracks all over Northern California for years. In fact, Father Howard Kading, grandfather to Bud, can still compete to this day. At 65 years old, he had an 11th place finish in Northern California. I mean, 65, Steve.
I know, and 4 spots behind Bud is the middle generation. That's Brent Kading, kind of the king of California. 22 feature wins this year on the West Coast, including an Outlaw feature at Santa Maria.
And his 10th NARC championship also this season.
And no one is having more fun here tonight, win or lose, than that bunch.
Yeah, they are. They enjoy racing.
Brent also picked up the King of California title, too, the Golden State Series again. He's getting to be old hat over there. Here we go. Green flag. And again, Dale Blaney with the big jump.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah, unfortunately for shots, the outside line there is just hard to get a hold of anything on the start. The inside line is a lot faster.
Keith Kaufman was all over Donnie Schatz there.
If you listen to Dale Blaney, in fact, when he was interviewed just moments ago, he uses the word learn a lot in his interviews, and that's what he has treated 1997 as. A learning season. He will take over the sprint car, the Amoco car, next year from his brother Dale, who goes off Busch Grand National racing and may never come back.
As we watch this one, Dale Blaney leads it. Here's a fight going on for second, the 11P. That car belongs to Darren Pittman out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Donnie Schatz runs in third, and Keith Kaufman in the U2 runs in fourth position, that final transfer spot.
Behind Kaufman, they are just struggling all over the racetrack. Everybody trying to find a magic combination, and there isn't one.
Well, you're looking right there at Rick Zeal, that purple 18. He's holding on to the 5th position, and that's Brent Kading in that white and red 2 car, and Randy Tyner right behind him.
Got to notice Brent Kading really closed in on Rick Zeal in the 3 and just missed the line by a foot or so and lost all kinds of ground. There he is again, right back up on Rick Zeal. Out of turn 4, hugging that inside line, trying to get us far to the front and catch the U2 of Keith Kaufman right there in front of them.
Kaufman has that final transfer spot, and it looks like Kading is maybe going to get a shot at Zeal. Here they come off of 4. Kading really working that inside berm.
Yeah, you get the left front up there sometimes, and it lays the car over on the right rear and helps stick the right rear, but also they're trying to keep the right rear in the little bit of moisture that's left there on the bottom.
Brent started this partnership with Al Peterson in this car last year right here. Randy Tyner, nicknamed Boo, in that 83 car. Another one of the Northern California guys. He comes up from behind out of Rio Linda, California.
Yeah, he got the left front up on and hooked the berm and about spun it. We're on the white flag lap. This is out of turn 4. Brent Kading in the 2, Rick Zeal right there in the 18.
That's the best battle on the track, but here comes the Amoco U.S. Print number 93 of Dale Blaney to take the checkered flag. He'll get the heat win. The 11P of Pittman takes second. He's going on to the A feature. Donnie Schatz, the Rookie of the Year, will go with him. Kaufman will finish 4th. Zeal, Tyner gets in front of Kading as they all come to the line, but they're going on to the C and the B and so forth.
And Keith Kaufman only got that final transfer position because of experience all the years in the Pennsylvania posse and across the country. Unbelievable. Let's go down to Dave Reeve.
Steve, we're always talking about the young up-and-comers like Tyler Walker, but then there's this guy, Joey Saldana, one of our second, even third-generation drivers, doing a heck of a job out here running with the Outlaws tonight. Not too bad. You've had 7 top 10s and only 36 starts this year. What's the plan tonight?
I don't know. Last night we went out late to qualify and we did bad. So tonight we qualified a lot better, starting to pull the heat. So hopefully we can transfer.
That seems to be the key. He's got one career Outlaw win. That come at I-96 up at Michigan there. Bobby
program. At the Mopar pit right now, Paul McMahon and Gary Stanton and their crew are raising the motor. They had it in a lower position. What they are doing right now is trying to raise the motor, change the position of the engine in car number 75 before they get set for further action in tonight's main events. Paul McMahon, Scott Bennick, and Gary
with Danny Lasowski, but let's check in first with Bobby Jarrow.
And Dale Blaney, the winner of heat race number 3 behind the wheel of car number 93, and he won that race down along the bottom portion of the racetrack. And Dale, it looks like this track is starting to get more and more of a low groove bottom feeder racetrack. Is that what we're going to see more of in the main event?
Well, yeah, it kind of looks like it. I hate to admit it, but it seemed like last night was up around the top, and it looks like tonight's going to be around the bottom. But we'll see what the track. See what happens to the track, but right now it's looking that way.
It's going to make lap traffic very interesting come feature event time, guys.
Let's take a look at the grid right away here for heat number 4 now as they are getting set to go green. This is going to be a pretty good heat, too. We got Joey Saldana and Neon Dion Hindi in row number 1. Jeff Swindell and his championship-winning brother Sammy alongside in row number 2. Back into row number 3. We come up upon the next group, Jason Myers and Danny Lasowski, who will be carrying our onboard camera. Gary Leanmeyer, 11X, and Larry Neighbors out of Oklahoma City. Next row, Lance Blevins will bring up the backside in row number 6.
It's going to be a tough row for Lance Blevins to hoe here, starting clear back in 12th, the youngster that I know a lot of the younger fans at home root for. He'll be around tonight, but maybe not in the A feature. If he can get in the top 4 here, hats off, buddy. You should have been Rookie of the Year again.
Getting set to go green as we come into turn 4. Everybody slipping and sliding through 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway. Big lead up front as Danny Lasowski gives chase from 3rd as you go on board the Gum Out race cam. He's right behind Sammy Swindell, who holds on to 2nd. Look at this shot right down on the ground.
Now you can see he's got the left front up on the infield there. You can see the brown, and then they come off into the black. And right there is where the tires want to tend to spin. Again, down on the bottom, you can see the brown, little bit of a rut there. Right around, he's easing on the throttle. Out of turn 4.
Joey Saldana leads this one. Sammy Swindell runs in 2nd. Danny Lasowski runs in 3rd. And 4th in the final transfer right now is Neon Dion Hindi in that bright yellowish green, number 11. Jeff Swindell, 1 spot out of a transfer, trying to give chase with that Ford power plant.
We should tell Sammy Swindell fans across the land that he, last Friday night at Manzanita, took a giant hunk of mud with a rock and whatever right in the face. Maybe you saw that show and you thought he'd lost control or something broke. He broke it right his nose, and he's looking better, feeling better, and obviously driving well tonight in this final heat, 2nd place.
Jason Myers in the 14M is behind Jeff Swindell. Dion Hindi in that 11 right there. His best blue finish of the season was a 10th at Cottage Grove, Oregon. Right now, he's on his way to a 4th place finish here in this heat and a trip to the A main. There's the 14M of Jason Myers. Here's Sammy catching up to Joey Saldana. We got a fight on our hands.
Joey looked like he missed the bottom there a little bit, but he still got a nice run off of turn 2. And I say miss, he got in a little hard under that lap car. Looked like his right rear slid up out of the groove. And Sammy, I thought was going to right mine, but he spun the wheels.
Well, Brad, we also said at the beginning of the show that one of the best drivers at setting up a race car is Sammy Swindell. And it looks like he guessed pretty good on what to do to this car. It looks to be working well.
Yeah, he's right now, again, he's feeling his race car. He doesn't really care to win this heat race. He just wants to feel his race car out and try to make it faster. The A-Man's on the last lap.
Look at Jeff Swindell. That's the 7 car, Ford powered with the flames on it. Ralph's favorite.
Oh, yeah. Best looking car in the field.
Absolutely. Trying to get that final transfer spot.
This is a Cornette-built Ford power plant, too, by the way, this time.
That Cornette is the same guy that built Scott Bloomquist late model engines.
Checkered flag fell. Joey Saldana gets the win. Sammy is 2nd. Lasowski is 3rd. Here comes the fight for the final trip, and it's going to go to Dion Hindi. Jeff Swindell's going to the B with the 4.
Boy, but he gave it everything he could. He went to the outside there even and tried to make that work.
If anybody can come out of the B, though, successfully, it is Jeff Swindell. We've seen that time after time. It just doesn't get him down like it does some drivers to be in the B. Some give up. Jeff never gives up. Okay, we are going to be back. The heat races are completed. We will have, I believe, either the dash or the C main. We'll know whatever rolls out under this racetrack here in Las Vegas. It's a beautiful evening. We hope you're enjoying it.
Oh.
heat race win for this young man. You wondered what he looked like with his helmet off. Well, this is him. Joey, maybe a little concern there racing with a lap car down there. Maybe that win was in question for a little short time.
No, I mean, I didn't know that guy was running on the top a lap before, and then when I got up beside him, he went to the bottom. So I don't know. I was just lucky to start on the front row, I think. I mean, the track's so slick and it's hard to pass. And who knows, maybe if Sammy got by me, he would have just drove off. But at least we're in the show, and we can go from there.
And where he goes from there is to work, trying to get himself an outlaw ride for 1998, guys.
And Mark Kinzer getting ready right now for a run in the Vibrant Dash. And Mark, this racetrack tonight appears to be very challenging. It looks like it's going to be kind of maybe a one-lane deal around the bottom of the racetrack. And what I want to know is how much finesse will you have to have?
Well, you know, once you get the car in there under power, you're going to have to go lifting up on the throttle and find the traction with the rear tires. Like you said, it's going to be tough. We're making some changes right now with some pretty light front shocks and stuff just to transfer the weight back quicker as you accelerate. So it's going to be tough.
What about lap traffic? Because if everyone gets to follow in the leader around the bottom part of the track, then what are you going to do when you come up on the back markers?
Well, you're going to have to be real patient for one, and we're making some changes to hopefully maybe just squeak around them. Not so much go the outside as just get out a couple inches away from them and maybe just try to use the momentum and go around them. But that's going to be a tough move.
Mark Kinzer starting on the outside front row of the Vibrant Dash, which will be coming up in a bit, guys.
What Mark was talking about, you know, everybody's going to be basically beating and banging around the bottom, and Mark is talking about rolling in out of the throttle on the outside of them and trying to roll around through the middle of the racetrack.
Okay, we'll be back to see if all of that works in front of this capacity crowd. Right now, it's time to visit with our gang in Charlotte. Motor Madness.
All right, we're hanging on the very edge of... I hope you were sucking. The world of Outlaws is sprint car racing at its finest, but the season is a marathon that's grueling and exhausting to everyone and everything involved with a team. This year, 23 states were visited throughout the country from January through November. The series ran 94 events, and in May through August alone, there were 53 races scheduled.
I try to give everyone a call about once a month, just to let them know that I'm still alive and I'm still kicking.
You don't get the home-cooked meals anymore.
These big haulers and stuff that you see, they look really big and nice. They get awful small after you've been on the road for a month.
Girls, man, it's hard, let's put it that way. We lost a couple of relationships along the way, I guess you could say, yeah.
The monthly schedule isn't the only demanding part of the season. Check out what the crew members do on a daily basis during the year.
After the night of racing, we'll go to the car wash straight after, and it'll be midnight, 1 o'clock. And then if we have a race the next night, if it's only 4 hours or so away, we'll just drive straight through and sleep a couple hours. Then we usually have about 5-6 hours of maintenance on the car. And then you race again that night and load her up again and go to the car wash and start all over the next day.
These crews are only made up of 2, maybe 3 people, and it's mostly just 2 guys doing all the work on the car, doing all the driving, keeping everything clean, and still trying to, you know, get some sleep and take care of themselves.
It makes it tough. I mean, doesn't leave many hours for sleep, but you find time for sleep every now and again. I mean, you get your stuff done early in the day and sleep in the afternoon.
So with all of this travel, what about time for family and friends back home?
The guys here, they are your family. You're with them more than you are with your family, your real family. You're with these guys a good, 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day.
Well, pretty much this whole World of Outlaw deal becomes just a big family. You get to be friends with everyone that works on the cars and the drivers, and pretty much that becomes all your friends.
it does make it tough, but it's a sacrifice I've chosen to take. You know, I could, you know, have a lot more friends if I did stay at home, but I tell you what, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
Time Gold Cup champion starting 4th in the Vibrant Dash tonight, but Andy, this ain't Chico.
No, no, it's not Chico. We're gonna go out there and probably try a little bit different strategy than most. The track's real fast around the bottom. We're gonna try to blast around the top there, maybe the first lap, and gain a couple spots.
All right, Andy Hillenberg blasting around the top. I wonder what Dave Blaney's going to be up to, Dave.
All right, Bobby, let's ask him right now. Dave Blaney, the driver of the 10 car, has won the Dash 10 times this year. As you go out, it's just 5 quick laps to get yourself set up for 30. What are the things you're going to be looking for?
Well, I mean, you want to look at the racetrack for later on, but the main thing you want to do is just get the best starting spot you can get for the main. You know, however you can get it. You know, you might run a little softer tire than you will later on just to help yourself.